Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of In Defense of Fitness. This time we are going to go over Mr. Tanner Shuck. This is a gentleman who used to do CrossFit, burnt himself out on it, didn't really understand it, now makes a name for himself by dissing it. I've seen him unpacked before, and he says some pretty ridiculous stuff. I actually haven't watched this video, but it starts off with what I have seen, which says a lot of CrossFitters are just stupid. So I'm very curious as to what he says he goes through it. And I hate to give him more credit than he deserves, but he has made a name for himself and he continues to hate on what we do. So let's unpack his stuff and see what he's got. See if there's any validity to what he says. A lot of CrossFitters
are just stupid. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they just don't even look at training from like a physiological or biological standpoint.
Okay, so he's saying that we don't look at training from a physiological or biological standpoint. Let's listen to his arguments. And I did get asked to maybe watch the video all the way through, so maybe I'll let it run. That's what I'll do. I'll let the video run. I'll see if let it go all the way through, and then we'll unpack it.
Anytime you go into the gym and you work out, you are stressing your body. And in order to adapt from that stress and actually improve, you have to let yourself recover from that. So if you're just constantly training, just beating yourself down, you can actually get worse. If CrossFit started all over again, they should just take out all the bullshit, all of the kipping gymnastics, a lot of the Olympic lifting. You can't measure it. How do you even know if you're getting better if you're constantly doing different workouts all the time? Makes zero sense. A lot of CrossFit.
Okay. This is so silly. It's funny to start it off by saying a lot of CrossFitters are stupid and then go and say such dumb things. But let's unpack them one by one.
Are just stupid. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they just don't even look at training from like a physiological or biological standpoint.
CrossFit is founded on understanding physiology and biology. The entire training method was such that we would achieve an adaptation by stressing the system in different ways, so we had different types of adaptations. Center to this is recovery. You do need to recover from the things that you're doing. Conditionally, we also want to have measurability because it's the only way we know we are improving. These are points that he goes on to hit, but let's go ahead and unpack them.
Anytime you go into the gym and you work out, you are stressing your body.
Yes, not just your body, but your mind, your neurology, everything. The point of training is to stress your body. It's how the human body adapts and grows. That is what exercise is. Stress that you then recover from, and in recovery, you improve the system that you stressed. Human beings are magic this way. It's amazing. That's how we grow. That's how we change, is we do a stress, then we add recovery, and in that recovery, we suddenly are no longer stressed by the thing that previously stressed us. That's us getting stronger or more cardiorespiratory endurance or whatever it might be. Coupled with that, though, there's also a neurological component, which is training. That's repetition and rewiring of neural pathways. That means doing more complex things that cause the brain to work harder. Things like double unders or Olympic lifts or, hey, I don't know, kipping pull-ups. There's a certain level of coordination that plays out in the rest of the world, in life, in walking around and moving and picking stuff up. We're not going there just to stress the system. That would be what's called a dumb training program that is not as neurologically complex. It doesn't require learning. CrossFit's not one of those. It's a more intelligent one. It requires this. So let's see what he says.
And in order to adapt from that stress and actually improve, you have to let yourself recover from that.
Yes, you absolutely have to let yourself recover from it. And 99.9% of people are not overtraining. Most of them, in fact, almost all of them are undertraining, meaning that they have more potential adaptation for themselves, even if they do the same stuff 2 days in a row. It's crazy to think that we can't recover from that. Human beings rest plenty. The 1 hour you spend in the gym is not going to be something that overwhelms the 36 hours of rest you get over the next 3 days. Now, can you eat better? Can you sleep better? Can you do all these things? Yeah, you absolutely can. And we stress that in CrossFit gyms. And are there days where you do multiple things in a row that are a little bit more taxing? Yes, there are. Absolutely. But let's talk about it. There's not people overtraining. Overtraining would be retrograde performance. The vast majority of CrossFitters are not having retrograde performance. Those addicts who get way into it and never rest and always are just doing more and more and more and more. People who train outside the 1 hour class that they're in. People like Tanner Shuck, who tried to compete and was a total failure. Those people overtrain. And then they blame CrossFit like it was CrossFit's issue. You overdid it, bud. You used the tool poorly. What do you think? Anyway, let's keep going.
So if you're just constantly training, just beating yourself down, you can actually get worse. If CrossFit starts,
Yeah, you absolutely can get worse if you don't recover and rest. And again, that is what Tanner did. That's not what normal people do. That's not what 99% of CrossFit is. Maybe CrossFit competition, but then you're misunderstanding the application more than anything else.
all over again, they should just take out all the bullshit, all of the kipping gymnastics, a lot of the Olympic lifting. You can't.
So Olympic lifting and gymnastics have their place in increasing intensity, which drives adaptation. You do them for good reason. Now, would you throw new people into either of those? No. You would teach new people how to do those. You would make sure they can do strict gymnastics first. And in the Olympic lifting, they'd stay light with PVC pipes and open bars, be coached well, and then learn how to move it. And it's always going to be probably at sub-max loads for the vast majority of people who walk through the doors. To say that we just toss barbells on people and make everyone do kipping pull-ups is crazy. And the value of those things in terms of driving adaptation, function and adaptation through shoulder girdle as well as the neurology, it can't really be understated or overstated, I should say.
Measure it. How do you even?
You can't measure it. Literally, you can watch a rep go once and you say, that was 1 rep. That's a measurement. Hey, that was the load on there. That's a measurement. How many did you do? 2. Cool. Next time when you do 4, that's double the amount. You got twice as fit. Our program is founded on being measured. You ding dong.
Know if you're getting better if you're constantly doing different workouts all the time.
How do you know if you're getting better when you're constantly doing different workouts all the time? Well, you retest those workouts. And you know what's really fun is when you retest and all of your metrics are better. That happens across the board for the vast majority of people who do this, especially when they're doing it well across 10, 15 years. You'll see crazy adaptation.
0 cents.
It does not make 0 sense. It makes perfect sense. Unless you're...
CrossFitters are just stupid.
Just stupid. Anyway, I was a little fiery for that one than I normally am. He's just a rage baiter, so I felt the necessity to go a little harder than I normally do. Lots of misinformation there. Lots of misunderstandings. Purely going for clickbait. And I love how he set up this fake podcast or whatever it is. Maybe it's real, who knows, but it looks like just one of these knockoff things because he's playing the fitness game. A lot of bad information out there, guys. Don't get wrapped up in it. Don't follow people who don't take personal responsibility for their own misgivings. Anywho, have a wonderful day and see you next time.